It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 269 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too. Don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Delicious hazelnut.
I mean, how can you go wrong with hazelnut? It's delicious.
Oh, you can't. It's delicious.
Now, we have a code, CWTCL 15 for 15% off of this delicious bagged coffee. Where should everybody go to get it?
brightenearlycoffee.com.
And if you need K-Cups, they're over on Amazon. Give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious coffee and chat?
I am, but first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okie dokie. Here we go.
Yeah, more than halfway through January. This is the worst month of the year for me.
Except for the end, because we'll be in warm Phoenix. But
yeah, that'll be nice.
That'll be so nice.
We've had some 50-degree days, though, where I could get out and work in the garden, which it was kind of just a tease, though.
Well, like today, we're working a lot today, and it's 50 degrees. But by this weekend, it's going to be below freezing. So the girls and the boy will be coming back in with their heaters. And that creates, oh God, an all new thing. Like I was telling you about it this morning when we were on our morning call. Like I'm to the point where I just want to leave it set up and then come and go versus taking it all down every time. At least through February.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, better safe than sorry. If that's what you need to do to get your chickens safe from severe cold, then 11 degrees is awful.
Yeah, and a high of 20 for the day. They're definitely not going to be out in that.
Yeah, no.
So that's back in the garage. And you know what? We were talking about pros and cons. And, you know, the number one pro is no frostbite and they're safe from, you know, anything with coldness.
Right.
That's all makes every con worth it. But the list of cons is also high too. But you just grin and bear it and go and do it.
Yeah. I think also the older you get, the more you just don't have tolerance for this anymore. I mean, when I was younger, I was like, no worries. Put on all my layers, go out. I would work outside all day in the barn, whatever. Now I just want to get back in here and huddle.
Yeah, exactly.
My comfy corner.
I know. I'm to the point again where if I wear jeans, Ella's like, where'd you go today?
Right. It's true.
You mean you don't have pajamas on all day?
Pajamas, leggings, joggers, all of the things that are not jeans. Yeah.
The comfy socks. Ella played last Sunday and it was a wind chill of like 20. And we went outside. I was freezing, man. I had my comfy socks on under everything, layered blankets. And she was in shorts.
I'm doing a new gardening method. You know how I get through January and February where I'm doing garden planning and starting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing a new gardening method from this wonderful woman named Ruth Stout. And she was doing this before, you know, the no-dig garden stuff was popular. Essentially, you mulch your whole garden with super deep layers of hay. Crappy hay, spoiled hay, whatever. And have I got some of that?
Yeah.
So, for that, just because it makes me so happy to be doing it, I think I might put on all the layers and continue to work outside. And, just a bit at a time.
It's crazy. Well, this episode, we're kind of talking about, you know,
gooses.
I have a story, but Joe's going to be mad if I tell it. It's not a long story, but...
Well, tell it, because as soon as we start the breed spotlight, we're telling my goose story.
Yes. Well, 2 days ago, Joe said there's a bunch of geese that live all around his work in a pond and everything. He got chased to his car.
Oh, no.
Poor guy. I feel so bad for him. The only thing that saved him was his laptop bag. I said, that laptop bag has saved you through many a times.
No.
And I said, he goes, those Canadian geese got me again, man. He goes, I had it. I was stopping them. They were honking and chasing me.
The Canada geese, are they as big as the Toulouse?
They're big. They're big.
Okay. I've never actually seen them like really, really up close enough to gauge that.
Well, Joe has, so you have to ask him.
Okay.
And then he cracked me up even more because he said there were babies chasing too.
That's hilarious. Chased by goslings. No. Well, that's why they were chasing him, because the babies were there.
That's a sign when you've been at work too long because there's nobody else in the parking lot left and you're like one of the last people coming out and the geese are chasing you.
Good heavens.
It was a cute story. So
It is cute.
He'll be mad I shared it, but I had to still share it.
I know.
Okay, so on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button because you never want to miss a goose story. That's for sure. And thank you to everyone who has left us reviews recently. Please, we need more. We love to see them.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the podcast, you can tell a few chicken, duck, or goose loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. As always, thank you to our wonderful patrons. And the other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay! You know what I love when it's 95 degrees outside?
Being inside.
Well, that too, but I really love cleaning my igloo chicken coop.
Yeah, it is so easy to clean. You don't have to break a sweat.
And you can use a water hose or pressure washer, so it doubles as a cool down. I also love those run covers.
Oh man, the shade is superb. I go into the run to cool off.
Yep, my flock's covered during the heat of the day, just chilling.
Meanwhile, we're melting on the patio. Seriously, can we get in on this amazing coop design for ourselves?
They're out there living the dream.
So when it's pushing 100 degrees, the right setup matters.
That's why we choose an igloo.
Get your girls their own just in time for summer.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards. Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare, and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today.
There once was a little honk, honk, honk in the yard. There once was a little honk, honk, honk in the yard. And it said it's time for the Breed Spotlight, yeah.
Yeah.
Honk, honk, honk. So this week's Breed Spotlight is...
the Toulouse Goose.
I mean, when you think of a goose, you think of honking. Lots of honking.
Oh, lots of honking. So, very quickly, we can tell my Christmas goose story. So sometime...
and it's not what you think.
Probably not. Sometime in late November, I was minding my own business on a Saturday morning when I got a text from one of my other very good friends, Michelle. Someone had probably dropped a domestic waterfowl at a nearby intersection. I mean, we're pretty country up here, right? So that intersection is not far from us. They couldn't tell if it was a duck or a goose, but they could tell it wasn't wild, if that makes sense, right?
And you were like, you got your cape and you said, Holly Ann to the rescue.
No, Pete got his cape. And first Pete went to see the goose. And he texted me back that it was a Toulouse.
Pete got on the kitchen gloves and he said, it's time to go to the rescue.
Well, he wasn't, I mean, the goose wouldn't let him get nearby because, you know, why would ya?
Yeah. You're like, hey, I don't know you, man.
I said, let's come up with a plan. I'll meet you up there as soon as I finish feeding everyone and we'll see what we can do. By the time I get there are all these people there. And I guess some people stopped because they saw other people there. And some other people apparently have been trying to catch this goose without success. We all try to catch the goose. The goose goes in the river, as a goose would do, right? And one of the people said, we tried to catch this goose yesterday and this is what happened. I don't have time to play. So I went in the river and got the goose. And the
it was
goose
cold too.
I was freezing too. And the goose ran back up on the bank, and Pete caught the goose. And after some discussion and the fact that I was freezing cold and heavily invested in this goose, I said, we're taking this goose home. Does any of this story surprise you so far?
No, not at all. Well, of course, I've known you for almost 45 years. So yeah, no, it doesn't surprise me.
So we brought him home, and our friends Michelle and Paul came over and helped us build a crate for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gave away the gender.
Yeah. And why he was probably dumped.
That's right. And so we quarantined him for a good long time before we let him out with the girls. He is a gander, chances are, and he's young. He's smaller than the other girls.
And I told you to name him what? Ryan Gosling?
There is no way on this God's green earth that goose is Ryan Gosling. Not happening. So far, Pete calls him Hiss Machine because he's a little hissy with Pete. I think he really remembers getting grabbed. I call him Sir Hiss. He's also been called Bad Gander.
You could call him Gene Simmons from Kiss.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Isn't that the one that always stuck the tongue out?
It is Gene Simmons, yes. I'll run that one by Gene. So anyway, he's actually a sweet guy once you spend time with him. He's very respectful. He gets out of our way. He's a good guy. But it's just very sad that someone dumped him.
That's horrible. And that's what we talk about all the time. My favorite story of all of this is just a week or two ago, Pete was looking out the kitchen window and he was hissing at Pete from the yard. Pete was in the house. I mean, he really holds a grudge. He does. That's the problem.
And I tested it this morning. I looked at him through the window and he looked at me and I looked at him and he looked at me and he just walked away. There was no hissing. But to be fair, I mean, we needed to get him in. There was going to be sub-freezing temperatures for the weekend and he needed to get off the street, so to speak. So Pete grabbed him, and that included grabbing his neck. Got to do what you got to do.
And my question is, when it's breeding season for them in the spring, how is that going to affect the dynamic? Will you have to watch out for him?
I will definitely watch out for him. But again, it's not that I'm not going to challenge him. I'm going to continue walking and doing the things I need to do. I will respect a girl on the nest. So if one of the girls is sitting on the nest, I'm going to let her sit. But if we don't want to hatch, there are going to be times where I'm going to have to throw him out because I'm going to go in there and get eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to be understanding of their emotions and things. But with geese, you have to be confident. You have to be a confident keeper.
Right.
And know what makes them tick so you understand them.
Exactly. So,
in honor
of the Christmas goose story.
I got me a Christmas goose. Yes, indeed. I didn't think there's any way it would be a female because who's going to dump a young female goose? But a young gander, I guess. Meh.
Exactly. It's horrible. It makes you sad, but happy because he had the right person rescue him. That's for sure.
Apparently so, whether he likes it or not.
Pete, when we travel in the spring, do not try to remove anybody from a nest with him around.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that. Because last spring when we were in London, Pete texted us photos of bruises because he lifted Mirabelle off a broody nest. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Oh, man. Okay, so let's talk about the Toulouse.
The Toulouse Goose, the beautiful Toulouse. And they are one of my favorite breeds of goose. Classic farm goose, right? The Toulouse is one of the oldest breeds of domestic geese. They're named for Toulouse, the fourth largest city in France, which is situated in the south of France. We need to go to Toulouse, I think.
Oh, heck yeah, we're going.
Written mention of them has been found as far back as the 1400s, which is pretty far back.
That's pretty far.
Medieval goose keeping. Toulouse are large, usually gray geese with relatively docile personalities.
Take that in perspective.
Right. Well, okay, here's what I'm going to say about geese. Geese are nobody's fool. They're kind of super dramatic, but they're also very trainable. But being mean to a goose is just not smart for a million reasons.
No.
Now, in most places, the Toulouse is considered all-purpose because they can provide eggs, meat, fat or grease, feathers, and they can do some weeding and guarding work.
And trimming of blackberry trees.
That was my black currant bush.
Black currant bush.
My black currant bush.
They pruned it.
She pruned it for me.
Yeah, she pruned it really well for me.
She did. There's wire around that part of the garden now. The large dewlap variety of Toulouse, they're the showbirds here in the US. And many people keep both the dewlap and the standard production line Toulouse as pets and companions.
Right.
So the production strains, or there's a French production strain as well that was brought to the US about 20 years ago. That's what Mirabelle is.
Exactly.
They are more common. They are not shown. They're not APA accepted. And of course, geese are waterfowl. So while they can live with chickens, they do have some specific needs that we'll talk about at the end of the spotlight. My geese are bad and they chase my chickens.
Oh, yeah.
Yours.
Food. Oh, yeah. They just look at them through the fencing if I could get in there,
right,
I'd get everything.
So if you're planning to mingle them, your mileage may vary. While both strains of Toulouse are heritage breeds, the dewlap variety is currently the one found in the watch category of the Livestock Conservancy's conservation priority list. Archaeologists have dated goose bones, domestic goose bones, to at least 7,000 years ago, so humans and geese have had a long time together. Most of the domestic geese in Europe are descendants of the wild gray lag goose. And we talked about this we talked about this with a couple of other geese that we just spotlighted. And a lot of these domestic European geese were originally developed in the Danube River Valley.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And it might be the same with the Toulouse. They have the typical look that we associate with farm geese. And all of these domestic descendants, including the Toulouse, have been kept throughout continental Europe for hundreds, if not thousands of years. The European geese differ from the Chinese and the African geese in that they don't have the knob on their bill. They also have a smooth, downward sloping bill. So they definitely look a bit different in profile.
Exactly.
The first Toulouse imported to the UK arrived in 1840. It was imported by Edward Smith Stanley, who was the 13th Earl of Derby. Like a lot of wealthy people in the Victorian era, the Earl was well known for his interest in natural history, farming, and breeding. He was president of both the Linnean Society and the Zoological Society of London, and the Toulouse Goose was one of his tamer imports. His son, the 14th Earl of Derby, went on to become Prime Minister of England 3 times during Queen Victoria's reign. So the Earl comes from illustrious lineage, and that's how this geese arrived here. Poultry fanciers in the UK set out to breed a much heavier version of the Toulouse, and the British breed standard was established in 1865.
Isn't that in your brain? I feel like after all these breed spotlights that we've done, humankind always wants to make the animals bigger for consumption. It's kind of sad in a way. Yeah. It's like we talk about it all the time. They're breeding for size. They're not breeding to make them smaller ever, really. They're usually breeding for larger.
Generally, I think they only breed for smaller if it's a showbird and they're breeding a standard.
Right, or bantam or whatever.
Right.
But, I mean, it is kind of sad. It's like one of those things that you're like, come on, people.
I feel like if humankind has learned any lesson, it should be that over manipulation of breeding is not a good idea because you end up with animals like the American bulldog that has all these medical problems from overbreeding.
It's genetically a disaster. Come on, people.
The Toulouse showed up in the US in the mid-1800s. They appeared, again, this is the dewlap. They appeared in the American Poultry Association's first standard of perfection in 1874 in the heavy goose class.
I mean, they're already in the heavy goose class. Then we're trying to make them even bigger. Then you get other.
They are the heavy goose class.
I mean, come on. Okay, so in case you've never seen one in person, geese, they're big. I mean, Joe can say that he's seen them in person before. When he was an intern, he was chased at NASA when he worked at NASA. So there were lakes everywhere there. So Joe has seen them close up. They're big. And the Toulouse can be really big, a really big goose. So the standard of perfection calls for the dewlap ganders to weigh between 20 and 26 pounds, depending on age. That's big.
Big bird.
That is a big bird. Production strain ganders are more like 18 to 20, and dewlap geese are 16 to 20. And when you're in the 20s or near 20, that's a big bird.
Right.
Now, the production geese are more like 12 to 15 pounds, depending upon their age. They have long necks, long, broad bodies, deep, full breasts, and stout, dark orange legs and webbed feet because they're waterfowl. They need those webbed feet.
Oh, they do. It's surprising in person how super big and super cute their feet are.
They are. And then you see those little nails on them. You're like, ooh, don't mess with
claws.
them. They have large, long wings and that they keep folded up against their bodies. Most of the time, their eyes are dark brown to hazel and their bill is a light orange with the pink bean on the end. Now, there is a buff Toulouse that was accepted by the APA in 1977, one of the greatest eras ever. In both colors, gray and buff. The feathers are dark from the head down the neck and across the back. They get lighter as they move down the breast and towards the abdominal area. Now, the underbelly is white and stretches up to the tail. Feathers are very lightly laced on the wings and the legs. They're very pretty. I mean,
they're very pretty. They are.
What's not to like? Now, geese are seasonal layers. This is what we're talking about when we were talking about earlier, like when they go into their season. Usually it's the springtime. So they lay like the spring and the summer with the occasional surprise eggs in the fall, which Holly had this year.
Yeah.
She had some fall eggs, which was, I remember I went to your house and you were like, see under that bag over there, there's an egg. Like somebody just laid an egg over
yes,
there.
and I just put it down on something in the garage before I took it in. Yeah.
The Chinese geese are selected for egg laying and produce a lot more eggs than domestic geese. So keep that in mind. The Toulouse, depending on the type, the strain that you have, can produce anywhere from 20 to 60 per year. That's a big range because if you're getting a production strain, they're going to lay a lot more than just the average strain. So just remember that when you're ordering.
Mirabelle, and she is the French production strain. She's a little bit different in body shape and color than a lot of the just regular production Toulouse that I've seen. Her legs are also a pinky orange, where the new gander, he's orange, right? And she's a big, beautiful, graceful girl.
It's like when we talk about new, like Rhode Island Reds, you have a production strain, and honestly, they can sometimes look different at like a different chicken than the heritage breed.
Absolutely.
So there will be some differences that you'll be able to see. But I'm just saying, like when you order, make sure you know what you're ordering.
Yeah, when you go to order, like so if you order from Metzer Farm, you can choose from the dewlap, the regular production strain, or that French Toulouse production strain, which I personally love.
Exactly. Now, the Toulouse do go broody and make excellent moms, which is great. While the males are generally gentle, they can become a bit aggressive, protecting their lady while they're setting. So that's what we were talking about earlier. We're going to wait to see this guy, Mr. Hiss, how he does in the spring.
Wicked Hissa.
And this is a thing with geese. Geese have that size behind them. They have that instinctual, as most ruse ganders do, to protect their women during mating season. Don't let kids near them. Geese are a lot larger. They have a lot more ways that they can hurt a child. So be really careful with geese and children, especially during mating season. One
of the girls gave me a busted lip a couple months ago, and it was completely by accident. Something startled her.
Right.
She jumped back and threw her wings in the air. And, you know, that big, heavy wing bone caught me right in the lip, busted my lip.
I mean, their muscles are huge. They're big. They're strong.
Yep.
The wings are like 5 times the size of a chicken wing. I mean, so
it's astonishing when you watch them as babies. They go from these little T-Rex wings to these just long, super huge wingspan.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's like, just be careful, especially around little ones, because a little one can be taken out by a goose. That's for sure.
If an adult human can be taken out by a goose, a child certainly can.
Now, geese are grazers, and their diet, remember this, is primarily greens. We want to feed them like we feed everybody else, but they eat differently.
If you don't have, like, you know, during the winter where you don't have a ton of grass, you know, you can supplement other things, but they really need a green diet. And if you don't have tons of grass for them to graze on, if you can get them an hour or two of grazing a day and feed them a good waterfowl feed, you should be fine. They will benefit from the waterfowl feed because it's properly formulated for them. And goslings absolutely need a waterfowl feed for babies. Or you can try chick feed with niacin supplementation like brewer's yeast. I just want to feed a waterfowl feed.
Right. And this is the thing I like about geese. We talk about it all the time. They're middle of the road. You have dry with chickens, really wet with ducks, and in the middle you have the geese. They do not need a pond, okay? A lot of people think if you have a goose, you have to have a big water system set up and a pond. But, I mean, they do love water. But a 2-gallon bucket where they can get themselves into, we're going to talk about this later in the show.
Yeah.
Some things that you can do. That's all they need. They need to be a great thing.
They need to be able to dip their head and blow out their nares. Even if you're free ranging, you need to have water out for them because they need water to help wash the food down.
Oh, yes.
You don't want them to choke. They are quite cold hardy. And once their feathers are waterproof, they are fairly waterproof in general. Like your chickens will be huddling in a rainstorm. And the geese are like, what's happening?
I don't even feel it, man.
Right?
I do not feel it. This is great.
But though they are low maintenance, they do require shelter and they do require protection from large predators. They're great predator deterrents. That's how people use them as a watch animal. And they're great deterrents because they make an ungodly racket. This gander. So quick little story. The mail person accidentally left someone's mail in our mailbox. And, here, 3 houses down is like quite a ways.
Half a mile. It's like my house.
Right. So Pete took a walk to return the neighbor's mail to them. And while he was there, the gander went off and he came back and he said, there's probably like 35 or 40 people in this neighborhood that have no doubt that we have geese because it's so loud. But you can't expect them to be physical predator deterrents because they can't take on coyote or large domestic dogs. They just can't do it.
That's what I was going to say. They're not predator proof. Like they have predators that are going to come after them. They are bigger. So you have, I feel like, hawks and things like that are less of a threat to them. But then you have coyotes and other things that, that could be. I even think a fox, that's a pretty big fox, could be a predator to a goose.
I would not trust a fox to not try to go after a goose. Absolutely not.
Exactly.
They're probably like, I'm hungry and that thing was good.
That's a good meal. So they're extremely intelligent and easily trained and make very lovely pets. Holly's geese they met me for the first time, never came after me, never did anything. They loved their Auntie Chrissie as soon as they met me. And now they know me.
They're very sweet, actually. They're very sweet. I've never had them go after anyone, including like delivery people. I was nervous about that, but they're fine.
Yeah, it was so funny because they did hiss at me more with you, but the first time they met me was with Pete, and they met me multiple times that week.
Right.
So they associated me being with him versus me being with you.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny. You're like, they're hissing at you. I was like, they didn't do that before, but they're like, wait, you're with my mom.
The gander, he doesn't hiss at me anymore. You know when he does hiss at me?
When you're with Pete?
No, not with Pete. That's funny. No, if I'm walking like briskly, like if I'm on a mission to go do something or like, let's say I'm worried about something and I'm walking really fast across the field, he'll get worked up and hiss. The other thing is I listen to podcasts on my phone. If I have a podcast on my phone in my pocket, he's like, shh. He does not like that.
Okay. I have met him in his crate, but I have not been on the property with him yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little like,
did he hiss at you from the crate?
I thought he made some sort of noise. I don't know what it was. But that was when you only had him for a few days at that point, like a week or so. So I don't know.
Oh,
but
just before you come at us, Pete and I know what we're doing. We did all the quarantine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We would not have taken a chance with that.
When I saw him, he was still being quarantined.
Yes.
So I was like, okay. So you know what? And geese do imprint on you if you're the main caregiver. So you don't have to worry about that, except for during mating season.
Yeah.
But they can be loud. Like Holly-Ann was saying that the neighbor, Pete could hear it 3 doors down. So before you get them, just make sure your neighbors are good with honking. And not
there's
the cars.
Honking. There is honking. Absolutely.
Now, here's the $1 million question. Where do you get the Toulouse? We've been saying it throughout this breed spotlight, but where?
Metzer Farms, Murray McMurray Hatchery, My Pet Chicken, I believe. If you're going to go to My Pet Chicken, please use our link on our website.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're interested in getting into showing, join the APA.
Exactly. So get yourself a goose. What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera.us.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Eaton Pet and Pasture is a farmer-owned company based in upstate New York that creates USA-made sustainable products for backyard chicken keepers. From low-dust hemp bedding and comfy aspen nesting pads to nutritious treats and odor-eliminating products, everything is designed to keep your coop clean, healthy, and smelling egg-tastic.
All their products are made right here in the USA with ingredients that are safe for your flock and the planet. So whether you're doing a deep clean or just a quick refresh, Eaton makes it simple to care for your coop the natural way.
They're your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness, made easy.
Visit EatonPetAndPasture.com to explore the full line of flock favorites and use the code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount. Okay, so we're ready to move on to main topic. Yeah.
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 You hear often that ducks and geese are healthier than chickens, and in some ways there are some things that are much easier, like they don't have a pouch crop like a chicken, so that is easier. But one of the things that waterfowl do end up with that you don't see as much in chickens is leg and lameness problems.
Right. So that's what the main topic that we're talking about today is, those leg problems. What can happen? Why? How? All the things that, if you have waterfowl, what to look for. So let's start with the number one thing, which is vitamin and mineral deficiencies.
Vitamin and mineral deficiencies. Okay, so you often see this in ducklings and goslings due to inadequate feed. Niacin is the one you hear about most often. Niacin deficiency causes soft bones as the babies grow and can lead to leg deformity, lameness, and some other really serious problems. Feed the best possible quality waterfowl starter feed that you can get.
Yeah, you want to start off with the proper amount, no guessing, no adding supplements. You want it baked into that food so that you know they're getting the right amount.
Right. I know there are people who have had great success with like brewer's yeast additive, but I just feel better starting with waterfowl food. If you still suspect an imbalance, you can drop a niacin caplet or pill into their drinking water, 1 pill per day, and you want to change that water daily.
Exactly.
Also, and we're a bit biased, but we love Vitamets by Metzer Farms because it has
awesome.
All the stuff, right? It's an easy and very effective vitamin and mineral additive for your baby waterfowl's water to make sure they have the best nutrition possible. If you have any other concerns, you're bumping up vitamins, minerals, niacin, and the bird still doesn't look good, that's veterinarian time.
It is. And the thing I was going to say is if you're ordering from Metzer's, just order the Vitamets right at the same time. So it all comes together and you have it. Now, the second problem that waterfowl can have is leg weakness. Now, leg weakness, it can be caused, like we were saying, by the vitamins and the mineral deficiency, but Also with large breeds and birds that grow too big too quickly. That's how the vitamin and mineral deficiency can play into the leg weakness. If they're growing too fast and they're absorbing the vitamins and there's not enough, they're going to have a problem. So you might have to boost up that Vitamex in there.
Yeah.
Now, jumbo Pekin ducks can also have this trouble. At about 3 to 4 weeks, you can switch the ducklings and the goslings over to 15 to 18% feed to slow their growth a bit. So pecans, that's the same thing. Like, they grow so fast and so heavy that their legs aren't strong enough to hold that body up.
Right. Even if they're not having vitamin and mineral deficiency, they still just might outpace their own frame.
Exactly. They grow too fast. They absorb those vitamins, but it's not enough. So you can also cut their protein intake by cutting their feed with oats. A lot of people do that. That's with mixing the oats in.
Yeah, so Lisa Steele told me that bit.
Yeah, she told us that a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now, swimming has also shown to help strengthen legs while keeping weight off of joints. So you can do some therapeutic whole time for them.
Yeah, like hydrotherapy.
And the leg weakness can also, it can be for a lot of things. We're going to talk about the other things down here, but the vitamin deficiencies can cause that. But it can just be too big and overgrow too quick.
Yeah, I would just be aware of that, keep a close eye on them, make sure they're, healthy, they're able to run, they're able to swim, all of those things. Oh, great. I get the next one. Bumblefoot. Bumblefoot. Unfortunately, all poultry can end up with bumblefoot infections, including waterfowl. As just like in chickens or turkeys, it's most prevalent in the heaviest birds, including those large pecans and other heavy duck and goose breeds. Treatment is similar to chickens, but you'll need to make some sort of a shoe or a large ring support to keep the birds walking and to keep the foot clean. And I would say with waterfowl, just be prepared to change that bandage at least once a day, if not twice, because you won't get it wet.
Keep about that. They're all about water. They're waterfowl. So the other thing is they walk a little differently than chickens. Chickens tend to put less pressure on the bottom pads of their feet and more on their toes.
Right.
Where ducks and waterfowl, you look at, their feet are flat. So that bottom of their foot, you have to put something that I've seen people make shoes, make all different kind of contraptions to keep the weight off the bumble area. Bumblefoot, you can't get away from it no matter what you do. It's going to be around.
One thing that I would say is a hard and fast rule with waterfowl is never, ever, ever. I'm like this about all birds, but especially waterfowl. Never on wire. Never keep them on wire.
To me, I look at it this way. Would I be comfortable? No. So I wouldn't do it for anybody else or any living creature else.
Right.
I would do it for nobody. Okay, so ammonia, callus, or burn. Ooh, this happens on the feet of waterfowl who spend a lot of time on soiled bedding because guess what? That ammonia in there. Ooh.
Their poop is super liquid. I mean, they can really make a wet litter. Yeah.
I mean, you think about like kids wearing diapers and stuff, they get the burn from the urine. It's the same way with their feet and their legs. So the feet can develop large, sometimes thick black calluses due to the ammonia. That is not fun. I'm going to tell you. It's often mistaken for bumblefoot, but it's not an infection. It's an actual burn in the skin.
Right.
Oh, but bumblefoot can occur as a secondary infection, so you really need to watch it. Now, if not infected, keep the birds on clean bedding, change often, and the callus should wear off as it heals. So cleanliness is next to godliness.
Absolutely. I mean, it really is, especially with all this ammonia and, their poop is so liquid. I've seen people on social media groups like, is this bumblefoot? And people saying, yeah, it's bumblefoot. You need to cut that off. And other people saying, no. Number one, don't go cutting into your waterfowl's feet. Number two, that's not even bumblefoot.
Exactly.
So you really want to familiarize yourself, see if you can find some photos, familiarize yourself with the difference between the bumblefoot and the callus. Next up, sprains, strains, and other injuries.
And automobiles.
I know. I almost put it in the show notes, but I stopped myself.
You know myself. You know me too well that my brain's going to go to planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yes, of course it is. Now, soft tissue injuries in waterfowl require rest, and it is hard to keep waterfowl still, especially ducks. So if you're keeping them, like say you're keeping them in and they're really restless, you can let them swim for a while.
I was going to say swimming for everybody. It takes the pressure off of those, but it still lets them move.
Your veterinarian can prescribe anti-inflammatories to manage pain and swelling. We had Snapdragon the Cayuga. I saw it happen and it was almost slow motion and I couldn't get there in time. It had rained. That's what it looked like. It had rained and there was a big hole that the ducks had dug that was filled with water. Mid-run, she went right in that hole.
Oh, man.
And it was really hard to keep her still. She was on anti-inflammatories. Now, breaks or any non-easily diagnosed injuries should definitely be seen by a veterinarian for an x-ray and for proper medical management.
Exactly. Okay, so next is the obturator paralysis. And everybody knows that anything with paralysis is not going to be good. So,
Well, the funny thing
you
is,
don't want that.
this sounds terrible, but it's one of the more benign things that we talk about today.
But you say paralysis and you're like, oh my God.
Well,
So it's an actual laying problem where the hen usually has a large or malformed egg, causing temporary paralysis in the female ducks and geese. She's got an oversized egg that she can't get out and she can't move.
it presses on her obturator nerve.
that is a hard word to say.
I thought this was fascinating because I don't know if this happens in chickens. I've never seen it in a chicken.
So you do not want to have an oversized egg in your duck because it's going to press on this.
Give her good
nerve.
talking to. Now, no more oversized eggs.
Look, only have smaller eggs. Believe me, trust us here. So once the egg passes, then it's over with. They can move. And because it releases that pressure in there.
Right. So people will freak out. They'll be like, my duck can't move. She's on the ground. Her legs are straight up behind her. Is it botulism? What is it? What happened? But it's that obturator nerve is being compressed by that probably supergiant egg or malformed egg or whatever it is.
And what you can do is relieve stress by separating her from the rest until she passes that egg. And, usually takes a few hours and then hopefully she'll be fine after that. And that happens if you give too many vitamins and minerals. I guess you get the oversized eggs.
I don't know, maybe. I do want to note that this usually apparently happens in new layers. Just something to keep in mind.
Shocker.
Right? Bacterial and viral infections. Yippee.
Yay.
So botulism is one of the ones you see most often mentioned with waterfowl. Monitor your waterfowl's environment for potential toxins. Make sure their food is always fresh and clean. Don't let them around a lot of rotting material. Botulism is treatable if it's caught early enough. A lot of supportive care.
That's a vet trip.
Right, your vet might prescribe antibiotics and other things for more supportive care. For viral infections, your birds are going to need nursing and supportive care, and that includes poultry Nutri-Drench, Electrolyte. Like the Vitamets is sort of the chicken version of, all the good stuff, electrolytes, vitamins, minerals, blah, blah, blah. So again, we're biased, but that's a good thing to keep on hand for waterfowl.
Exactly. So next, we're going to look at hardware disease, which is in heavy metal poisoning, and it can be present as lameness or, again, paralysis. Hardware or metal objects will show up on the x-ray. We all know this well. And the x-ray, your vet can pull the blood for the heavy metal panel, looking for zinc or, too much lead anything like that. And then you need to do some soil testing to check out to see if it's in your soil, if you can't find anything with the x-ray. So for more on heavy metal poisoning, check out episodes 44 and 247, where we go into that in depth and get all that information over there.
It's not a bad idea to have soil testing before you even have your waterfowl on your property, just to know what you're dealing with.
I think so, because the water aspect with them is crazy. So if you have ducks, especially. Right. So, and water is one of those things that brings up the heavy metals to the surface.
Yep.
So knowing what you're dealing with before you put them somewhere might be the best case scenario, so that you can maybe make arrangements to put them someplace else or do something else on your property. So there we have all different things that can cause lameness and leg problems, all these different things in your waterfowl. And, if anything, worst case scenario, go to the vets. If you don't know what it is, always go to the vets and have it checked out. Have them checked out for sure.
If your flock could talk, they would thank you for shopping at Eaton Pet and Pasture, your one-stop shop for coop freshness and flock happiness made easy.
From their all-natural USA-made favorites like hemp bedding, roost refresh, and nesting pads to convenient product bundles that make chicken care simple, Eaton has everything you need to keep your coop clean, cozy, and odor-free.
Check them out at EatonPetAndPasture.com and use code COFFEE at checkout for a first-time purchase discount.
Okay, are we ready to move on to
Cracking the eggs.
cracking those eggs? Now, today we're talking
Vanilla chai chocolate chip bundt cake. So this is a weird invention of mine, this cake. I just wanted to throw a bunch of... I wanted a spice cake, but I didn't want it too heavy, so I thought chai spices would be nice.
Yeah.
But then I wanted chocolate chips in there, so luckily it turned out super yummy.
Ella says you can never go wrong with chocolate chips. You should just add chocolate chips to everything.
It's very true. She's very right. So this is an easy to make and super delicious cake. It looks gorgeous in a fancy bundt pan, but a plain old tube pan, just as good. You can make it fancier with glaze or a dusting of powdered sugar if you want to, but it's really good on its own. That's up to you if you want to gild the lily.
I always put powdered sugar on everything, I feel like.
It looks pretty, yeah.
It's my go-to. Okay, so let's go through the ingredients you're going to need. You're going to need 3 cups of all-purpose flour or gluten-free 1-to-1 flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground cardamom, 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. Oh, not the white pepper.
No, I did white. Again, I don't know why it says black, because I did white.
3/4 cups, that's 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter or dairy-free butter, softened, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1/2 cup of firmly packed dark brown sugar, 3 large chicken eggs, there we go, 2 to 3 duck eggs depending on size, or just 1 golden goose egg at room temperature, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 cup of low-fat buttermilk or dairy-free buttermilk, add a teaspoon of lemon or vinegar to the cup of plant-based milk to make your own and let it sit for about 10 minutes. And then your powdered sugar for dusting or your glaze if desired. You did kind of throw all the spices in. Now, this has more of like a fall feel to it. But if you want, to me, always spiced feels fall. But chai is that. Like chai, like when you're making that, it tastes like fall.
But this cake doesn't. This cake is lighter. I can't put it into words. I can't explain it. I think I put the black pepper in here because that's what's traditionally used, but I used white. That being said, I expected it to be more like a robust spice cake, and it's more subtle. It's very delicious. Preheat your oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You're going to spray or grease your bundt pan, making sure you get grease into any decorative crevices.
Oh, yeah. That's the only thing I have like Crisco in the cabinet for like 10, 20, 30 years. I put it on a paper towel and I use it and grease the whole pan with that and then do flour on top.
That's how my mom did it too. I just spray it with olive oil, but yeah, I hadn't thought about using Crisco.
Well, my mom told me that, so that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at vintage cookbooks from the 50s and 60s, it is all Crisco all the time.
I think I've had maybe bought 2 of them. I've been married, almost 30 years, and I think I only bought 2 of them.
Yeah, that's probably all you need. Because you're going to set aside your bundt pan once it's ready. In a medium-sized mixing bowl, whisk the flour, baking powder, baking soda, all the spices, the salt, and the black or white pepper, and you're going to set that aside. In a large mixing bowl or in the bowl of a stand mixer, you're going to cream together the butter and both sugars on medium or medium-high speed until light and fluffy. Add your eggs one at a time, mixing after each addition and stopping to scrape down the sides. If you're using a goose egg, you don't have to. Ha ha ha.
One big goose egg.
One big goose egg. Mix in the vanilla extract. Then add the dry ingredients alternately with the buttermilk. Mix on low until just combined, scraping down the sides as necessary. Once that batter is nicely mixed, you're going to add it to your bundt pan, spreading it evenly with a spatula. It's a long bake, so you're looking at 50 to 55 minutes, or until a toothpick or a knife or a cake tester, whatever you use, comes out clean from the center of the cake. Now, if it's in a bundt or a tube pan, you're going to cool it for 10 or 15 minutes on the counter. Then you want to invert it out onto a cooling rack.
Right. I even put the pan on top the cooling rack so that it can go under, the air can get under it.
Yeah, to start. Set it on top to start and then turn it out after 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah. And you do want to wait 10 or 15 minutes because if you do it right away, you risk cake cracking.
And stickage.
Stickage, yeah, I didn't even think about stickage. It's true. When your cake is completely cool, you can dust it with a confectioner's sugar or glaze it or just cut into it and enjoy it.
Try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. Take it to your bestie's house so that you can go and talk chickens. Have some fun.
Sounds good.
Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy, we're keeping it in the theme because we love them. Water features for waterfowl because, we want to give some ideas of things that you can get out there and places you can go to get these to make life a little easier or more fun for your waterfowl.
Right. We're assuming that you don't have a large natural or any kind of a natural pond on your property. And honestly, even if I did, I wouldn't let my waterfowl in it for fear of avian flu.
Exactly. I wouldn't either.
So if you are not blessed with a pond, these are some options, some of which we've just explored, some of which we've used. One of these is,
we've seen out there.
One of my favorite ones is one we've seen. I need to order some of them.
So Holly likes to use 2-gallon buckets. You like the buckets.
Right. They're easy to carry if, say it's wintertime and, your hoses are frozen or your faucets are frozen. 2-gallon buckets are very easy to fill and carry out. I carry them out 2 at a time. You can get them heated. So you can get a plug-in heated version if you need to.
You can get them anywhere, like supply stores, Home Depot, Lowe's, any place. The mill.
Right. I usually buy them in a 4-pack at TSC because we use them for so many things. They're the perfect size for geese to get their heads in. Not quite as convenient for ducks, but they can drink out of them and blow their nose out of it. No problem. So if that's all you go with is those 2-gallon buckets, you're golden.
Exactly. Next, kiddie pools, because, hey, they're fun for kids, so they're fun for waterfowl.
The gander loves the kiddie pool. I mean, loves it.
So how are you filling it up with your hose? Even when it's cold, are you bringing out gallons?
No, when it was too cold, they just didn't have the pool. And the gander was kicking over buckets of water. And that was the problem, is that there was no way to fill it.
Yeah.
So the first few days that it was super freeze, I just broke the ice off of it. But the last day, it was so dirty and it was so low by that point, I just turned it over and waited until we had a thaw. But if you have a thaw and you have the water right there, they absolutely love it.
So it's amazing. And they're inexpensive too. I mean, a kiddie pool is like $12 that you can get. So if it cracks, it breaks, you just get a new one. You don't want to put too much water because like you said, you want to be able to turn it over when it gets dirty. It's easier to, keep it clean that way.
Yeah. Splash pads. The kiddie pool we're using right now is a small one. It's a 4th of July theme that I got at TSC on sale for $7.99. So just keep your eyes out because those sales do happen. Splash pads. You've probably, if you follow any waterfowl accounts, you've probably seen these on social media the past couple years. It's almost like
a water slide.
Yeah. And there's a water jet. It's like the old slip and slides, only bigger and better.
I would love to see a slip and slide in the summer with geese going down.
I don't know that they would. But the splash pad, the water fountains up and they love that.
Exactly.
So that's a quick and easy thing you can get to make your birds happy, especially in warm weather.
Rubber tubs is the next one on the list, and you can get it in various sizes and shapes and all different things. Sometimes you can get them big enough where they might be able to get their bodies in, and you can still turn them over easily. It's a good thing for keeping water clean, especially in the winter. You could dump it. If it gets icy, it's not like a pain in the butt to get the water out.
No, when they freeze, it's very easy. Just turn them over and you can stomp on the back. And that heavy rubber, you don't damage it. It's so easy. So
and black rubber attracts the sun, so it will keep it from freezing longer,
Yeah. And you're right about the variety of sizes. I have a really big, deep one.
Yeah.
And then I have some really big, wide, but shallow ones. The ducks love to get in there just for some preening. They get in there and splash and have a good preen. If you need a rubber tub, there's a size to meet your need. We swear by them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's crazy the sizes of the rubber tubs.
Yeah. The next one sounds kind of funny, but you saw this on an Instagram account.
I love it.
Yeah. These are concrete mixing tubs. And we've seen people with ducks, geese, and swans in them.
And they're rectangular in shape so that they can get their bodies, and they're not terribly high walled. So they can splash around.
They also have a sloped end. Some of them have 2 sloped ends. But what the slope does is it makes dumping it even easier because you can just sort of roll it up and then roll it back. So I think if you're doing bigger waterfowl, these things are fantastic. I suppose you could bury any of these options. You could bury at soil line. You can bury any of these at soil line and make it easier for your birds to get in and out. But, then you have to think about lifting it and cleaning it.
Right. Exactly. That's what makes it hard. And the drainage at that point, right. You're like, okay, so these are things that you can free range, do some supervised free ranging, put out in the yard. And then when they're done, dump them, dry them out overnight, and reuse on the next day. This is kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about these.
Yeah, just things that could enable you to keep waterfowl if you don't have tons of property or you don't have tons of water features.
Right. And the water features like ponds with liners and the natural that way. I mean, those are the hardest kind to have because you then have to figure out a way to clean without moving, drain without moving, and keeping everything kind of going. So that's what the end result, you'd love that. You would love that.
I really want to dig a pond for the waterfowl, and I'm sure at some point I'll do it. But here's my thing. I don't want my birds in there. And we're heavily wooded, right?
Right.
I don't want my birds in there unprotected. So I think if I dug out a pond, I would get one of those great big run frames and put it over the pond like the ducks are in right now. So it's
you give them a playground.
Absolutely. I think that's what I would do because it would just terrify me to have them playing in their water and a hawk come down and get them. Plus, if it's inside a big run, it keeps wild birds out too.
Yeah, exactly. You could make it like a water park.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
That would keep your run area cleaner and drier.
Probably.
Maybe a little. But so those are the things that we would suggest to go out and get. And you can get them at on Amazon. You can get them at Home Depot. TSC, Tractor Supply, carries a lot of them. If you're local to us, the mill carries a lot of these things also. Mm-hmm. So you check them out.
You can get pond liners, believe it or not, on Amazon.
You can. What the first thing that comes to my brain when I think about that around here is Valley View Farms. They have the whole water section there.
That's much more of an investment than I'm willing to make because they make fancy ponds.
And they're expensive.
Yes. Yes, they are. Gorgeous, but expensive.
Okay, so should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Yeah, next week we're going to have a little fun because we haven't talked about this bird in a while, and it's really interesting, and that is the olive egger.
Oh, yeah.
Main topic, we're going to talk about how to recognize winter vitamin and mineral deficiencies in your flock.
And this is a real deal problem for a lot of people and birds.
Ooh, cracking the eggs is baked blueberry cake donuts. I am there.
And a cup of coffee, of course.
Yeah. And retail therapy, we're doing glazy hen ceramics. This is some really cute stuff from a ceramic artist.
Oh, yeah. What's so cute? Okay. So what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, and geese.
Every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.